Hello and welcome back. Now then, this is me adding narration on after the original video went wrong and my microphone had pulled out of its socket. It's a Razer and it's got these, in my personal opinion, a silly design where the actual boom pops in and out with a little mini jack socket, so somehow it worked its way out, just me taking it off and putting it on the desk. So I am, in true professional style, adding the narration on now. Unfortunately, as always in these cases, you don't always remember what you were talking about. Anyway, this is me running from the original spot where it always pops, and I think I was actually explaining that I'm sorry that I didn't, because I normally run, actually jump into a vehicle without showing you that bit. So this is me showing the things that we've actually got and the state of play, the weeds, saying that they're 75%, and yet you can clearly see that the weeds have been sprayed. So I seriously don't know. It did this the first year as well, where it showed the weeds. This is us looking through the daily contracts to see if there's anything we can actually go for. I can't remember if we did or we didn't. I thought we... yes. Did we get... I don't think we did it? Oh, we did actually. Yeah, we've got that one contract. That's right. Later on, we actually take that as a harvest after we fertilise this. So yes, we did. I do remember doing that actually, because I remember saying on the harvest day, "Oh, yes, we fertilised that." We did indeed. Right. So then, what are we going to do? Can I remember what we did? As always, when you do this afterwards, it's so hard to remember what you initially did. Am I going to run and do the... It looks like I'm going to do the fertiliser contract straight away, which is good. Excellent. I can't remember what on earth I was talking about. This is the one thing I say, when you actually record narration after the fact, it's always so hard. It's weird how when this is live, you remember and you're thinking about lots of different things to talk about, but when you're looking backwards, yeah, you just sort of having to try to piece it all together. So obviously I think this is where we're looking to see where field 69 is, and it's underneath the railway bridge, which is, I didn't realise there's another little railway bridge where the water is, but not that that's much use because you can't wade through the water. But yes, I love this little this is me checking the width. That's my doing. Oh, this is me nudging the bales. I am a bit light. I don't know if you noticed the wheels bouncing off with this. It is, when it's fully got 4 tons in the back with the weight of the thing itself, it is slightly light on the front end, which I do later on, not today. I actually do buy that weight, quite a large weight, to compensate not only for this, but also the no, I'm not going to say that's a spoiler for equipment that we buy in the future. So that's the only other bad thing about when you are playing after the fact. When you've done all the sessions since, you know that, and it's so easy to blurt out, oh yeah, the such and such that I bought, which I've just blurted out about the weight, which is not that much of a spoiler, but there are other pieces of equipment that would be a spoiler for me to say 2 sessions early that we've got. So yeah, let's keep it. This is the daily. I love looking through these. Again, that baler's not a bad price, but I like actually round balers. So, and I know a lot of people think they're odd, but I prefer round balers because I like to wrap at the same time. I think that's so much quicker than these square balers. I know most people. Yes, I know round bales roll. We all know that, but there are ways to compensate for that. Either buy a field with a wall around, or in this, that's something I've not tested yet. If you put a fence around a field that was on a hill, would your bales run through them, or would it stay at them as if they're solid objects? That we need to run this test, because going forwards, that is something I would definitely do on fields that are close to water and things like that, and when they're on a hill, if you're going to turn them into a grass field, if you can do that, that is an absolute game changer on FS22, truly. Ooh, I'm adding unique content onto this that I never said the first time. Yeah, this is us trying to go the sneaky way, but I'm going to have to run across the sidings to get to the tunnel. I am getting there though, I must admit. I am beginning to sort of know my way around the map a little bit. You know, when you're sort of not completely fantastic, but you're not terrible either, when you know where most fields roughly are. I'm beginning to get to that stage. I'm looking out for toys as well, which seem to be Yeah, here we go, under the railway bridge. Yes. In fact, I've also done another spoiler because I say that we harvest this field in a bit, so we do. This is where I go wrong, because actually on the left that we just went to was field 69, which at this precise moment in time has totally escaped my notice. And we'll notice in a little bit when I pull the map up in a few seconds that I've just gone straight past it in my silliness. Of course, field 69, since doing the harvest, is drilled into my brain. I don't think I'll ever forget where field 69 is, or that's what I would hope to be the case. Yes. Is this where I'm looking for the fields and I go, oh my life, I've gone past it. Yes, it is back there. Come on, move yourself and get over and get that contract done. Oh, this is another thing I don't understand. Why did I go down past the long way past the field when all I had to do was go across the top? In editing I thought, why did I do that? I think it's because at the time you are actually talking to those that you're, you know, I always class this as sort of almost like I'm talking to friends. It's the only way I can sort of do this, because I'm a very shy person naturally, but I can project reasonably well, I think, when I'm talking. I just class it as I'm talking to friends. So yeah, I think sometimes when you're chattering on, like now, narrating, that's the one thing that is easier about narrating. I don't have to concentrate on driving, because I've already done it. That's the one advantage to narrating afterwards, is that you split in your concentration, and I did find that very difficult to begin with when I first started at content creating, because talking and concentrating at the same time is like doubling, half in your awareness. You'd like half concentrating on talking to people and half concentrating on doing the job, and it is more difficult than people think it is. But like any skill, as you do things more and more, you do sort of get into the habit of speaking, but sometimes you speak gobbledygooch if you're concentrating too hard, I've noticed. And I have a nasty habit when I'm tired of forgetting words or names of things. If I'm very tired, my words go, and I don't like that. I couldn't think of the subsoiler earlier. Yeah, been a tough week at work, so if I come back and I record a session, I'll often say the thingamajig or the plough, or because I can't think of what the subsoiler is, or it comes to me when I'm myself again, when I've had a bit of a rest. But I actually love doing the content. I do find it relaxing to a degree, but you're still tired from work, so yeah, it's I do thoroughly enjoy this. Yeah, I'm just trying to look to see how many times I pulled open the map at this time. I don't think I did it too many times. Actually, this is not a bad one to see. It's the thicker undergrowth that you can't see where your shadow is when you're actually fertilising and spreading. This is quite easy to see. There are some, like the taller crops, that you just really struggle with to actually see the shadow that you can see quite clearly when you're doing smaller things like this. This is easier to see. You don't really need to pull open the map, but when you're doing some, you're sort of almost going by feel. On my Horbelleron, I did a massive fertilising contract on the biggest field of the map. I think it's 26, and that crop was quite tall. I sort of had to guess. I did better than I used to, though. I used to be a terror for opening the mini-map, and keep flipping it open to see if my lines are matching and that. So if you're creating content, you've got to try to be a bit more natural and not, I think, intrude too much with things like that. But on a field like this is an absolute doddle to see where you've been, which is an absolute bonus. I do think that Bredl's an absolutely amazing, especially now you can line with it as well. I am loving that. It's the one thing when I first started, and we've got the Amazon and the big Bredls, obviously 18 meters max, and the cost of the Bredls when you first start, especially on start from scratch like I do, and that is my favourite. I think we had 300,000 on this, literally, because I paid the loan off straight away. So yeah, you can't afford expensive fertiliser stroke limers like the Bredl. You need to sort of like hire lease, or hopefully get a good special at some point, which if you're relying a lot on luck. And you say, one will go eventually, but you can't rely on that all the time. So we have done quite a bit of leasing on this initially, just to get us through certain things earlier on. But yeah, now we are beginning to get some decent equipment come through. probably need something like a telehandler or a front loader though. That is something we are a bit short of. That's one thing the case you can't do with it. You can't have everything though. It's a cracking thing. 261 horsepower. That's a serious advantage for a medium tractor like this. I do love this tractor. It didn't used to be, but is now one of my absolutely firm favourite base game tractors. If we'd got more modern tractors and the cheaper ones, I used to love, one of my firm favourites starting tractors was the Fendt GT, and I know people are thinking, what, really? Yes, absolutely, because it excelled in the fertilising contracts because of its front box, because you could stick 4 tons of fertiliser in that, and then your fertiliser at the back, and you would be almost as big as some of the proper fertilisers, the trailed ones with both. Was a huge advantage, absolutely amazing, and also very, very reasonably priced, and it came naturally with narrows, so it was one of those win-win-win. Yes, it was only 19 miles an hour. That was its big disadvantage. You seriously couldn't sort of travel very fast. I think on my low note I actually got away with that by I bought a truck and I had a trailer, and I used to stick the Fendt GT on it and used to travel around the map. This is me looking for toys. Yeah, that's right. I'm actually having a bit of a recce to see. I think I'll get out in a minute and see if that door's an actual door and we can go up. Yeah, just doing a bit of a run around to see if we can see any toys. But no, not this time. Can't go up there. So if there is in the undergrowth, then I miss it, but there's definitely nothing around here. I can't remember if I go to that building there. I am trying to get into good habits to see if we can actually spot toys in that, especially looking at high, because there's quite a few on roofs. But to be honest, I'm sure we've done this area the day before, I think. Yeah. See, there is something on the roof, but I don't think it's a toy. It's funny, when doing narration on my recording software, this is not my recording software, this is my editing software, it does very fuzzy videos and the timing's not quite as perfect as it would be. It's just the way it compensates for being able to add narration onto it, so it's a bit disjointed. You also can't hear the sound effects that you guys would hear when you're watching the video back. There's nothing at all, so yeah, nothing there, which, well, I didn't find anything, but then my perception on looking for things is definitely not the best. Of all the skills I think I possessed, my perception of my surroundings like that is not very good. My wife would certainly agree with that. We did well out of that, thinking about it. 72% after doing a massive field like that. That's really good. 28% to fertilise that huge field. You could probably do 2 or 3 quite large fields with that, with 4 tons. One thing I'm looking forward to doing is, one of my favourite mods on FS19, and this was quite late on, was the transporter mod, that front box that you can literally stick, I think it was 2.5 tons of stuff in it. The advantage to having the transporter box is it was almost like a bucket. You could use it as a bucket so you could get things off the floor, pick things up with it. So it was brilliant for cleaning up animal spills and things like that, or animal areas. It was as cheap as chips, but also had quite another sort of secret advantage. You could stick seeds in it and stick it on the front, and your seeder would read it as additional storage. You could do the same with fertiliser. The only thing it couldn't do, field points didn't recognise it as something to be filled. You'd have to bucket it in, but seriously, that was not a massive disadvantage. I'm seriously hoping we get something like that again. I'm going to test using the pallets, those fillable pallets, to see if you can, with a front loader, stick one of those on, and then you could drop your, I know it's a little bit messy, then you could drop your fertiliser off, grab that was already filled, and then tip it into the back to fill it up. we might do some testing at some point, but yeah, but this is, I know what I mean, I'm just not explaining it very well. Right, that's us topping up. I do believe, yes, I have taken the payment. I see my money's gone up, so that's with me chattering. I'm not paying too much attention to what's going on as I would normally. Right, what are we doing now? Can't wait to use that mechanical weeder. Just hoping I don't miss the first growth stage of the weeds on this year. And there's another spoiler. Silly me. Yeah, I haven't seen planted yet, so I'm not really. It's not really a spoiler. I'm not even got that far, but yeah, so annoying, that mess there. I seriously might have another go at planting, building a greenhouse. Just one of the bigger ones, just in that place. If it'll let me level it, I don't think it will though. So I think I might plant a tree there or something, or make it look. Might try on that other on another field. If we buy a field, we might put one there. I would go up this end, but it's a bit really bumpy. It sort of slopes away, and also if you ever want to cross the brook, I think if we start to change the level, it will make it a bit weird. This is where we're topping up our productions. I know what we're doing. Obviously, I would guess of the sugar cane, because we did have quite a lot of sugar beet from our own harvest. So, is that what we're doing? Sugar cane, am I guessing correctly? Let's look at the price on this, because later in the year it goes up to nearly 3,000. Oh, what's that? Sugar beet was a wow. Nothing doing, so we're going to have a rest. See what happens the next day. Oh, that's it. The first time I did it, it went wrong. I remember that. I think I must have pressed a button to disturb it. The first time I remember that going wrong like that. This time I left it alone. I think we actually did quite well out of that night's sugar productions. Oh yeah, nearly 60,000. Excellent. Oh, it's going to rain in a bit according to the weather. Can't remember if that disturbs us. Yeah, we need to put some more sugar cane in this month. The sugar beets should just about last till tomorrow. Sugar cane we're completely out. Oh, I didn't realise I switched the engine off. Right, so we'll be putting that in the productions ready to get through today. We need 20 tonnes in minimum of each one. This obviously just filling the trailer up. Oh, I missed how much that was. I think it is cheaper. I think it goes it's more expensive soon. The winter months seem dearer for both sugar beet and sugar cane. They hold the price better, so I'm paying more per load for both sugar cane and sugar beet. Not that I mind, it's still very reasonable. We still do make profit off of it, even buying it in. The one thing I do like about that a buy point as well is it actually does use average prices off the map, because it does fluctuate along with the prices, so it's not naughty as doing what we're doing. We're actually paying what we would for. There might be a slight discount. I'm not saying it's not slightly discounted, but it certainly isn't by a lot. It's not like silly. There were some mods where you could buy products that were so cheap on FS19 that you could seriously buy it from a buy point and then sell it at a sell point and make a lot of money. Not that I ever did that, because I just think in a way, again, it's each. I'm not saying if you don't think it's cheating, and if you're happy with doing that, then that's okay. But to me, it's like I could buy any product from a buy point and sell it at a sell point and make money. I think it sort of defeats the game, if you do that. So yeah, But if you're buying sort of things at the proper price or just under, like us, I mean, if you'd got a sugar factory like that, you would buy product in when you've not got your own, because the whole point is selling sugar. Would have contracts and things that you're trying to fulfil all of the time. So yeah, it is, I think, perfectly natural. Now then, is this the day that I got? No, I think it's next month where we get the contract for the harvesting. I think. Don't think there are any contracts this month, were there? Yeah, harvesting's 28 grand. It's a massive one for the sugar beet, so it's not that one. No, I don't do that one because I'm not sure if sorghum's one of those glitchy ones at the minute, so I'd imagine looking at that I'm going to probably sleep through again till next month. I would say, if I'd got any sense, that was exactly what I would do. Having no recollection of such detail, I am not sure. There's not much we can do on the fields. We've sprayed fertilised as fully as we can do, so it's just waiting for it to be ready to harvest. I think it is next month though, the sugar beets that we do the harvest. Or do we do it after mine? I can't remember now. I can't remember if it's actually next month where we harvest mine first and then do the 69. I think it is actually. I'm sure we'd actually pulled our sugar beet out of the ground. Yes, we had. And I'm doing another spoiler because I'm talking in the past tense, because obviously to me these things have happened, so please forgive me for ruining the next episodes in my stupidity. Wow, that is a good price. I say it's just a square baler. I do like the fact you can make them bigger though. That is quite an advantage. I mean, you can do it on the rounds as well, but the squares are definitely better for that. You can go larger with square bales. I do sleep. I thought I did. So does that mean it's September or October? I didn't pay enough attention. If this is October, then this is our harvesting month. Let's see, does the rain abate? October, harvest month, yes, so we did pull out, this is our harvesting month then. Definitely. Yeah, that's what I think I'm talking about. And the weed and all the rest of it. How it says weed 75%, and yeah, you can clearly see that weed's been sprayed. This field is definitely reading a bit weird. It did on that very first year. Quite confused me when I first looked and it kept saying weed 75% when there is no weed. It's been sprayed. So it is definitely confusing. But there's definitely, and I wonder if that actually does affect our harvest as well, whether the game is reading that it's actually got weeds. I'm looking at other people's. Wow, 68 grand. We were doing quite well. Foliage remover, didn't we, last year? That is getting ditched. Look in my garage. This is the only confusing thing I always find when you've got two Let's Plays. It's what you've got on what. Cost on that telehandler. Yeah, I have only got this on this. That is true. Cheap that is now. If I sold that, so on my other one, I think I've not just bought a topper on special. That reminds me. Not that I think the daily deal. We are in the business of that is amazing. Or the sugar business, so of course I'm not. That is a good price really for that. Really good. Eventually, that is. If I was to choose one, that would be the one that I would go for. We are going to go into bales eventually, but it's a really good mod. That's amazing, though, isn't it? Yeah. If I'd got 22 grand, I know I've got 22 grand, but I meant to say slow one, isn't it? Electric. Not really in the grass business yet. We've not got any mowers or anything like that, so. Even though it's good, I want to still you don't flesh use out it around the we need a telehandler. If I'd got 32 grand, we should pass for now. Pass for now on both. But that is a good deal. It's just that I'm seriously not sure. Okay then. Right, we need to top up our production first. Right. Let's have a look. Through the contracts, need to fill up the sugar beet and the sugar cane as well. Both. Sugar beet. Actually, we're going to pour in our own sugar beet to that in a minute, so we should just put sugar cane in because we'll be doing this ourselves. This is so strange, narrating after the fact. dear, second guessing what you actually
Stick
did.
that in, and we'll stick our own sugar beet in. And whilst we're over this way, we shall go to the store and hire the...
It's amazing sometimes though, when I actually look
Topper.
back on the episodes, chopped quite a few trees down, just ones that got in the way, like the one that was there. It does make such a big difference sometimes, where you just improve home, and I think we've done that quite well on this field. We've done lots of little tweaks just to make it more home, to fit better with what we need to do on it. So this is quite amazing. There is one thing I did say on this that is rather annoying. It was explaining on why I sort of do what I do, and why I do know that obviously what we're doing, where we're selling the productions naturally just through the selling sort of thing, you actually get about half the price that you would if I literally loaded up and took them to the sale point. You often get $1,000 or 1,100 on the good days, whereas you sort of get an average of about 500 or 600 per ton when you actually sell it just through the selling. It gives you like an average, which obviously is not so good.
No, we don't normally do it this way.
What I was saying was,
I don't know why we don't.
If I do realise, because on my whole Bella run, I actually did load about 40 tons and literally got 40 grand, but it took a long time to do. I literally did manually load as well. There were no auto loads. It was all just, and I enjoyed it. I did, and I was getting better. But to be honest, nobody wants to see that going on and on forever. And yes, I like to show everything, so therefore I don't miss that out. This one,
is it a vent?
Across the road.
It's a vent, isn't it?
So yeah, it's
let's get off the
I do like to sort of show everything, and I did say I'm not sure I'll always do that, but for now I actually do like to show. I don't like to cut stuff out, so I tend to time-lapse things that are big if I do a big contract or a big job. So
I know there is one on the roof of the where we are now, because I did see that on Mr. CDP's videos.
Just say, I've loaded all the pallets and sold them. For now, I'm quite happy with. I know I'm going to get less money, but we still make money. And it's about the same as selling one product properly, because we sell the two products and get the two to go into sugar. It's not far off what we would earn from selling one lot properly. So I know we would make almost double if we sold both of them properly, but again, it's a compromise so that the content is more. That's just where I'm hiding. Yes, at least that. I'm hoping this one day that will come up as a special. This is much.
It's a very reasonable leasing cost on that, I find.
Definitely time. Harvest days finally upon us. The one good thing is I won't miss. I was actually grumbling about
we should do both.
Improvement to yield.
The harvester and the topper at the same time. I think I did it separate last year, but
at the time I was moaning
being as I'm manually doing this anyway, it seems a bit silly.
For a bit, but it is.
I did have a theory that the workers did it wrong because on the potatoes that I did, because I hadn't done it
basically
with the topper first and then gone over, and I don't think it had anything to do with that. But if I'm doing it anyway, to be honest, it's more about watching the back and not the front. So
and notice that I've left one trailer full of sugar beet out,
and we have extended our field this year, so sure,
that's about right.
I think we've got 88 tons off this last year.
How much I actually did over last year, because I thought it was the same, and actually
I think
it was.
Looking at things, though, I was right.
Extending the field as we have done actually has made a difference.
That harvester as well,
which is good.
Being as we're so close to. Whoa.
Right. Sizzles. Actually, now then, I absolutely no idea what I was chatting to you guys and gals about though for ages. Is this me just checking everything? Yeah, as you would. Wow, I'm surprised I never repaired it last time. Unless of course it gets damaged just by sitting there, which in F22 wouldn't surprise me.
Well, one thing I am loving about the case is it has got very reasonable,
just move it and it loses 1%.
Exceptionally reasonable costs for its repairs, which is very unusual for any of the tractors. This is where a second tractor would be exceptionally useful.
time-lapse this. It does make sense, to be honest, because there's nothing I can actually say. So I reckon
I didn't think of that.
I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other
Okay.
side.
It's Switch that off. Shall have a look on the... Let's go around this way. Brilliant. 29,000. Smashing. Have a quick look on the map to see how well we're doing, to see how well on the field we're harvesting, or whether we've actually got some bad patches. Okay then, so we'll next time on this journey with me on the farm, which is consisting of